I'm here with channel The Fishless Fisherman. Um,
Yes, sir.
how I like to do this is I'm just going to go ahead and read off your channel description, and then we'll get into some questions.
Okay.
Sound good? Now,
All right. Sounds good.
before we even get there, what do you want to be called? Do you want me to call you by like your regular name, or do you want to be called Fishless? Or
You can call me Fishless. That's fine.
all
That's
right,
kind of
Fishless
like
is
the
it?
nickname I've got throughout the community. So Fishless
Right.
works.
All
But
right.
for anyone who wants to know out there, my first name's Robert.
All right. So the Fishless Fisherman's description says, "Welcome to my channel, The Fishless Fisherman." Emphasis on men, and I have a feeling we're going to find out why. I'm relatively new. I'm a relatively new fisherman that took up the sport of fishing 3 years ago after the passing of my beloved mother. Fishing is the avenue I took to help me in my grieving process and allowed me to continue to pass down knowledge she had to my two young boys. The channel name comes from a long running joke that I could never catch a fish. My first ever catch was at the age of 37, a rainbow trout on Father's Day. um, Sorry, I lost my place here. Rainbow trout, Father's Day. From that catch, I've been hooked. LOL. Together, we build memories in the great outdoors, and I want to use this platform to showcase some of my greatest catches, how to fish cleaning videos, and of course, my favorite fish recipes. I am by no means an expert, but am a proclaimed self taught hack at the sport I am falling in love with. So join me on my journey as I strive through with trial and error to master this incredible sport. The Fishless Fisherman has posted 137 videos. He has 428 subscribers and 261,877 views. So, Fishless, when did you first start posting videos on this channel? And before even that, how did it all come about that you decided, you know what, I'm going to make a fishing YouTube channel? How did we get there?
Well, the channel I started the channel back in October, this past October, 2024. My older son kind of pushed me in to starting the channel. Um, Now the backstory to, I guess, to understand how I got into YouTube, you have to go back to about 3.5 years ago. My mom was diagnosed with cancer unexpectedly. It just, you know, she was healthy one moment, and then one day she just started getting sick, and doctors couldn't figure out for a while what was wrong with her. Probably took almost a week of testing, and then they came to the conclusion that she did have cancer. So um, she she was only able to go through treatments for about 7 months before she passed away. So we didn't have that long with her once she was diagnosed. So it was a pretty quick thing that happened. Um, Before she had gotten sick, my mom um, would take my oldest son out fishing. It got probably the last 2 or 3 years of her life is when they were going out fishing a lot, and they never caught anything that I'm aware of. But my older son, he just seemed to always like enjoy being out there with her, sitting on the banks. They were always fishing for bluegill and things, and it just really calmed him down. And she was real motherly to him, and she was a great grandmother. And when she got sick, it was real devastating for everybody, like it is for everyone out there who has a family member that passes away. Um, and when all that happened, I was I didn't know how to cope with it. I was depressed, like all of us would be. And a lot of people go and they seek counseling or go to therapists and things like that. And I wasn't at the right place mentally to go sit in front of a stranger and just kind of talk about my emotions. So a lot
Right.
of what I did And I think I posted in my last video um, why I started my YouTube channel, but watching YouTube kind of was like a coping mechanism. It may sound a little weird that you're
Not at all.
grieving and you want to watch YouTube, but when you're kind of the job that I have, I'm driving in a car all day long. So all I'm left with is my thoughts, my emotions, feelings about things that are going on, and it just by the time you get to the end of the day, you're kind of shot. I mean, emotionally, you're shot. So between helping my wife with our two boys, once I get home from work, cooking, cleaning, making sure that their homework's done, getting them off to bed, you don't want to do anything but just sit around and you're just there thinking again, you know.
Yep.
And so I would put on YouTube, and I came across the video one time. It was a fisherman that was up in the mountains, and I live in North Georgia, so there's a lot of river systems up here and a lot of trout fishing. So I kind of became enamored a little bit with this video and the guy going out and how peaceful and tranquil it was in his surroundings, just being out in the mountains, fishing out in the river. And for whatever reason, it was like everything that was in my mind just kind of like drifted away. And I was just sitting there watching this guy fish. You could hear the birds chirping in the background. He was talking about how he was fly fishing, um, and things like that. So I just started every night coming home, kind of the same routine, watching fishing and stuff. And then it just kind of, after a while, it kind of dawned on me like, you know, my older son found peace with fishing with my mom. Um, I'm finding peace with watching it on YouTube. Maybe me and him should go out fishing, and it'd be a good way for him to kind of like relive those memories that he shared with her. And just it would be a good bonding thing for us. So that's I started taking him on the weekends to fish. Um, and I didn't know anything about fishing. My mom used to try to take me fishing a few times, growing up. I was heavily into sports. I played baseball, football, basketball growing up. I had no interest in fishing. To me, when she did take me out, I never caught anything. I was bored of it. I just had to have fast pace, things going on in my life. And because I was a hyper kid also. Um, and so I didn't know how to do anything. I couldn't tie a knot. Like I am sitting at the bank asking my 10, 11-year-old son, how do I tie a hook on the line, and I'm a 37-year-old man.
Right.
And he's showing me what he knew. And, he knew basic like fisherman knots or overhand knots, things like that. And I'm relying on this kid, and we're trying. I mean, literally every weekend we were probably going out, and I'm trying corn, I'm trying bread, I'm trying hot dogs. I'm throwing everything out there that I can. Keep watching these videos. I'm learning different artificial baits, for trout fish and stuff like that. Nothing's working. So, um, let's see, probably about 3 or 4 months go by. Well, Father's Day was in June. So yeah, it was about 4 months, I guess, had gone by. And I was hitting fishing hard, like going out all the time, just trying different things, still not catching anything. One day when I came home, my son was like, Dad, you truly are a fishless fisherman. You go out all the time, you're fishing, and you come home and you're catching nothing. So you're the fishless fisherman. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of the fishless fisherman. So now, just kind of fast forwarding to Father's Day that year, me and him went out. We went hiking up into the mountains, and we were probably sitting by the bank for about 2 hours that day. And I was like, I don't think we're gonna catch anything, man. It's just like every other time. Fishless
Right.
fisherman over here, bringing you out here, not catching nothing. Um, so I decided to tie on a little crankbait, and I made a few more casts. There was a waterfall coming down, and I decided, I remember seeing on some of these YouTube videos how people were throwing into like the bottoms of the waterfalls where the water was pulling up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just decided, hey, I'm going to throw in there with the crankbait and see what happens. And sure enough, my line starts tugging and the rod's bending over, and I'm kind of freaking out because I never caught a fish before. I didn't know what to expect. And I would go home and tell my wife, like, I'm so confused because I don't know if I'm getting hung up on something under the water. Because every time my rod would bend over, I'm thinking, oh, here's the time I'm going to catch a fish, and I would be stuck on a log or a rock
Yeah.
or whatever it was. And that it kind of felt the same way, except it fought back. That was the only difference. Like I could
Yeah.
feel like, okay, it's fighting back a little bit. That's different. So I pull it in to the shore there. My son's kind of, getting excited and everything. And he's like, "Oh my God, you actually caught a fish. You caught a fish." Um, so I pull it in, and now I'm thinking, okay, I caught the fish. How am I going to get it off the hook? Because I've never taken a fish off the hook.
Right.
And I'm like, all right. So it's like sitting there flopping in the sand on the riverbank and everything. It's getting all dirty. Um, I think I picked him up and he kind of just shook himself off and he came off the hook. So then I had a net. So I kind of like grabbed him with the net and that's how we kept him. And then I had seen on the YouTube video, like a guy dispatching of the fish. So I went and got a rock and just kind of hit him over the head and ended his life there. But so, of course, that was my first fish. So I had to take it back home. My dad was over at the cabin we were staying at. One of my brothers was there. So it wasn't a big trout. It was little, but I cooked that baby up on the barbecuer, and all three or four of us took a taste of it, and so that was my first catch experience.
How did it
So
taste?
oh, it was real good. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could definitely tell the difference. It was a stock trout, but you could still tell it was a lot more fresh than what you'd buy in the store.
Yep. Yep.
So, um, but that was so it's probably like a year and a half after I caught my first fish. But once I caught that, I mean, I was literally hooked. Like, uh, you know, it was just like the feeling of going out there and like kind of like your hard work, was paying off at that point.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything I was watching on TV, everything I was trying when I went out, finally, like things just started kind of clicking for me and what I
Right.
needed to do. So I guess about a year and a half from that point, we're going into maybe like August of the following year. And that's when my son was like, you're getting pretty good at fishing and you talk about it all the time and you're talking to me about it. You're talking to everybody who wants to talk to you about it. You're starting to get some knowledge about it. Maybe it would be good if you shared it with the world. And I just kept like thinking about it, like if I did this, because I'm not a public speaker by any means or anything like that. So I like to goof around with my family and stuff, but putting myself out to the world's kind of a scary thing, like it is, I'm sure, for a lot of us who have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
But um, I guess it was like beginning of October last year, me and my son went and we went on a camping trip. And I was like, if I'm going to do it, this is a good opportunity. I could film our camping trip. We can do a catch, clean, and cook at the campsite. Let's go ahead and do it. So we, packed up all the camera gear that we had, went out and had a good weekend, caught a bunch of bluegill, and I made my first video. And it got like 80 something views, I think. But that was 80 something people that I didn't think was going to want to watch it. So, and then I just kind of like just kept doing it. My editing is starting to get a little bit better. I look back at some of the videos from like the first 2 months that I was doing it. And I just kind of like laugh about how some of the editing was and stuff. And
Sure. Yeah.
but that's how I started the channel. I was pushed into it by my son, and I just decided, if I'm going to go out and be fishing as much as I am, and I really enjoy it, and it's something that gets me close to my mom. Like I'm always thinking about her when I'm out fishing, and I just want to kind of share that with the world. And I thought, it'd be a great opportunity to leave a legacy behind too for my kids and for my family in the future. It's almost like a living time capsule if you want to think of it that way,
Yeah. Absolutely.
because you're just leaving a footprint behind for future people and relatives to look at, or just anybody in general that's on YouTube. I don't know. YouTube might be around for 20 more years. It might be around for 200 years. We don't know that.
Right.
But what we're putting out there, it's we're leaving a footprint behind, and that's pretty cool to think that when I'm long gone, if this is still going, somebody one day might type in the fishless fisherman and a bunch of stuff's going to pop up and they can kind of see how my life went. So that's pretty much it. Long-winded
That's
answer, but that's
no.
that's
I loved it. I loved it, man. That was great. Like heartwarming, interesting, cool, and that's the spirit of fishing. That's what it's all about. Like everything, you just talked about is like, I don't know. For me, that's what it's all about. It's like connecting to the past. It's being in the moment. It's um, the excitement of accomplishment, all of it,
Mhm.
the overcoming struggles, all of it, man. There's just something about fishing, man, and
Yeah. And
that's
fishing is like it's a skill and a hobby. It's a hobby, but it's a skill at the same time because there's so much that I'm learning. Like it's like you get stuck in these rabbit holes. Like you go out, you want to learn how to fish, but then you start learning about the equipment. Then you start learning about different boats. Like I went out and bought a John boat because I wanted to get further away from the banks.
mhm,
Then you learn about, well, now that you got a boat, you got to learn about the bodies of water you're fishing.
you know,
So it's like there's so much that you can learn. It's you're learning something new every day, and that's what keeps me interested in it.
heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Uh, so talked about your YouTube journey. Um, so where are you located generally, and what
Mhm.
bodies of water do you primarily fish?
So I'm in North Georgia. I guess I'm about 45 minutes north of Atlanta.
Okay.
So I'm kind of the biggest body of water around me is Lake Lanier. I don't know if you've heard of Lake Lanier, but that's
Maybe.
the biggest lake in Georgia, and it's also considered the most haunted lake in the United States. So it's a
It's
man-made
say that
lake.
again. Did you say it's
It's
haunted?
yeah, it's considered the most haunted lake in the United
Haunted.
States. Yeah, haunted.
All right, let's
Yeah.
let's do a deep dive on this. Why is it haunted? Tell me more.
All right. So the lake was there was the lake. There's a town that's under the lake, basically. So in the
Wait.
1950s, yeah. So there's a town called Oscarville that
Okay.
is underneath the lake, and back in the 1950s, they purchased all this land and they built a dam, Buford Dam, and they cleaned out a lot of the area, but there was the town Oscarville, and I think there was a few other small towns and farmland that they decided not to clear out. So what they did was dammed it up and ended up there's a lot of cemeteries, old houses, there's an old racetrack under there. So there's a lot of debris and a lot of trees underneath the water. So I think I don't know the exact number, but I think it's somewhere around 250 something drownings since the 1950s.
Oh my
And
god.
we usually, I would bet the guess there's at least 3 to 4 a year.
So
You know,
wait, let me
happens.
see if I comprehend this right. So they decided they wanted to build a lake by making a dam, and when they did that, it just covered a city in water.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times the man-made lakes, that's what they do. They just dam them up. And I believe there's two rivers. I want to say I know it's the Chattahoochee River, and I think the Chesadee River. Is it Chesadee? Well, there's two rivers that flow into it. So they dammed it up, have the two rivers flowing into it, and then they use it for that generates power. So, and if you look deep enough into it, I think there's like the Panhandle of Florida draws some of that power from that lake because the Chattahoochee River flows out of Lake Lanier and then it flows all the way down to South Georgia into Florida.
Oh, that's
So,
crazy. There's cemeteries
yeah,
down there. Bunch of
yeah,
people
there's
dying. All
cemeteries,
right,
old
keep
churches,
keep
yeah.
going on with the haunting. So people just keep drowning there for some reason. Like, is it legitimately that, like, more people drown there than like other lakes on average?
Yeah, if you go into Google and type in the most haunted lake in the United States, Lake Lanier, it should be the first one that pops up.
I'm gonna write this down. I might have to
Yeah.
do some research on this. This sounds really interesting. Can you
But
spell
like I
Lanier
said,
for
there's
me?
Lanier.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. But there's a
Now,
there's a few ghost stories related to it. And then there's like just this past 4th of July, there was like two boats that exploded and caught fire on the lake. I think it was both on July 4th.
so is there a
So
prevailing theory of like why or who it's haunted? Like, is there some kind of like specific ghost story or anything like that? or is it just like a bunch of
Well, it's a lot. I think what happens is when people are out there, if they're not wearing life jackets and things, and they go under, wherever they're at, there's a lot of tall trees that are there, and they get hung up in trees and fences and things like that that were left behind,
okay.
and then you can't free yourself to get out. The biggest ghost story I think is called the Lady of the Lake,
Okay.
and it was two women. Right after the lake had been filled in, it was probably around the late 1950s, early 1960s, and the story goes that they left a dance in one of the towns near the lake, and they went and got gas, and they didn't pay their bill, and they kind of sped off, and they crashed on a bridge or off of a bridge into the lake, and they found one of the girls the next day, but they never found the car. They never found the other lady. And then I think a few weeks later, something like that, they found a severed hand that came up to shore. And then in 1991, I believe they were doing some work on the bridge, and they were like dredging underneath the bridge, and they found
Mhm.
the car. And when they pulled the car up, the lady's remains were still inside the car, and she was missing a hand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's one of the
Is,
the main ghost stories.
is that verified or is that like an urban legend?
No, it's verified. There's newspaper
Wow.
articles and everything about it that you can look up. Yeah, it's called the story is Lady of the Lake.
Okay.
And there's actually there's a movie that just came out on YouTube called Lanier, and
Really?
it's loosely based on the lake and some of the ghost stories, extremely loosely based, but you can kind of get a good idea if you watch that, about some of the stories and stuff. Yeah.
No.
So it's pretty interesting.
And this is the lake that you fish the most, the haunted lake.
Yeah, that one, and then there's some local creeks and rivers that I like to fish, and then my family's got a condo down in Myrtle Beach, so that's where I do some of my saltwater fishing. We're actually going to be going down there pretty soon.
Have you personally felt anything paranormal out there when you were fishing? Experienced anything?
No, I mean
No.
nothing. It's always kind of eerie if you go there when it's raining because of the way, like the dense fog and everything that kind of rolls in. Usually, like around like sunset, if it's kind of an overcast, rainy evening, you'll get some fog that rolls in, things like that. I mean, there's just some strange stuff that happens on that lake. There was a story a few years ago where a guy was on a houseboat with a lady, and somebody was just speeding. I don't know what kind of boat they had, but they didn't see him, and they just plowed right through the houseboat and killed both of them. I
Oh
mean,
my
it's
God.
just tragic things like that just happen all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So, and
All right.
kind of to give you a little idea, like I'm about 2 hours from where like Skipjack Cindy is in Scenic City and those channels, because I'm
Yeah.
about 2 hours from the Tennessee border.
Okay.
So yeah, because I know you did some fishing with them
I
not too
did.
long ago, but I'm not too far away from where you were at.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, boy, yeah, there's a lot of. My mom lives in that area, so I try to go there
Mhm.
like once a year. Um, and now there's probably a lot of people I got to meet up with. Like, I don't know if you watch Release to the Grease, and
Yeah,
then Real of Life 423, Cynic City 423, and so
yeah,
I
because
guess
they're,
I'll just
they're all
add
in
you
that
to the list.
Chattanooga area, right? Is it near the Chattanooga area where they're at?
Yeah, they're all in the Chattanooga area. Cindy and Travis
Mhm.
are in the Knoxville area. Um, my mom actually lives in the Knoxville area, so but if I'm going all that way, I kind of want to meet up with everyone. Maybe we can all go to the haunted lake and tell ghost stories around a campfire or something. That'd be kind of fun,
Oh
huh?
yeah, that'd be good.
um, so you already told us about the first fish you ever caught.
Hmm.
Um, so now what is the biggest fish you've caught so far?
The biggest fish was about almost, I guess, about a month ago. I caught a striper. It was a 34-inch striper,
Oh,
and I
nice.
caught that Yeah, I caught that out of the Ghost Lake.
Okay.
So it was almost, yeah, it was a little over 11 pounds.
Wow.
But yeah,
That's a nice fish.
yeah, it's the biggest fish I caught. I've caught a shark, but it was like a little 3 foot shark. It put up a really good fight, but compared to the striper, it was nothing compared in size.
Yeah.
So
How did it feel to fight an 11-pound fish after not catching fish for like 30 years?
it was
Or
awesome, man. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we had like 6 rods out, and that sucker tangled up every single rod we had out in the water. And the guy that we were out with was cussing us out because he had a lot of lines he had to fix, but it was worth it. It was
Right.
definitely worth it. Yeah.
Were you freaking out like during the fight? Like, were you like doing the "Oh my god, it's big, guys! It's really, really big"? Like, or were you just like
You
focused?
Well, yeah, you think you would be freaking out, but I think I was more worried. Like, I want to see the damn thing. Like
Right. Like,
I
I
want to
don't
make
want to
sure it
take
doesn't
this.
come off. Yeah, I want to make sure it doesn't come off, and I want to make sure that I get it in because that was, I could tell by far the shark I think put up a more aggressive fight,
Hmm.
um, just because of the sheer power that a shark has. But the striper, I mean, the rod was just the tip of it was bending basically into the water, so it was yeah, it was a good fight, but we were able to get him up, and the sucker was heavy too. I mean, I'm a big guy, and you don't think 11 pounds is that heavy, but I guess it feels different on the fish.
Right.
Maybe because they're waterlogged. I don't know.
Yeah, something about the buoyancy. I don't know. And then
Yeah.
like you're only as strong as your rod and reel and line. You know what I mean? So like, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter how big you are. If you're working with
Yeah.
light tackle, a big fish
Yeah.
is going to feel big.
Yeah. It was definitely walking me around the boat. That's for sure. Yeah. Now I know
Um,
I've watched some of your other interviews, and you're always asking about catching gar. And I caught a gar last year out of Lake Lanier too.
did you really?
Yeah. Yeah. So
How did you
that was
manage to
pretty
catch a
cool.
gunner? I can't catch them.
Uh,
I don't know
yeah.
why.
So my youngest son was at a Boy Scout camping trip at the lake.
Yeah.
And I had a rod out, and I think I was using cut bait, but it was what was it? I think it was a shiner. And I butterflied the shiner out,
Okay.
and I just threw it out. I was trying to catch catfish, and I'm sitting there talking to some of the other parents, and then one of the kids was like, "Hey, your rod's bending over, man. Your rod's bending over." So I like see it, and it's almost touching the ground. That's how far it was bending over. And I thought I had a huge catfish on there. And I went and set the hook on it, and I start bringing it in. And as it got closer to me, I was like, "What is that beak looking thing, popping out of the water?"
Okay.
And I didn't even hook him. Like when I got him up, what he did was he did a death roll when he bit into the fish, and the
Yeah.
line just wrapped around his like snout or beak or whatever you want to call it. And I
Yeah.
pulled him in that way. He was pretty much like wrangled.
Oh, dang.
So, but I had all the little 10-year-olds were, felt like a superhero over there catching this big old alligator
Right.
gar looking thing that they had never seen before. And they're all like,
Right.
"We go swimming in that lake and those fish are in there." It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna freak out the day I finally catch a gar, just because I don't know, never caught one, and I
Yeah.
just permanently blame every fish I don't catch on. Well, it must have been a gar then.
Yeah. And they're surprisingly powerful too. I
Yeah.
mean, and just trying to get them back in the water, no, that's another thing that I learned about, getting into this fishing thing is like every fish that you handle, you got to kind of know going into it how aggressive you have to be with the fish when you're trying to take it off the hook, you know.
Right.
So,
And where you can and
yeah,
where you can't touch it, because
exactly.
just about every fish can poke you one way or another. You know what I mean? They've all got
Yeah.
little stabbing devices on them, whether it's their teeth or their fins or their gills.
Yeah. Yeah, my hands are like pin cushions right now.
um, what's currently your dream fish to catch? If you could get out there and catch one fish, what is it?
My dream fish. Saltwater, I want to catch a marlin. If
Okay.
go out deep sea fishing and catch a marlin or like a big grouper or something like that. I wanna experience a fight like that.
That'd
Because
be
I mean,
intense.
I've heard stories like people fighting, 3-4 hours sometimes trying to bring those things in.
Yeah,
So that would be crazy.
sure.
And you'll probably laugh at me about this one, but freshwater, I'm still trying to catch a freaking crappie. I've never caught a crappie before.
I
So
don't catch many of them. They are, I think they're, as far as like little panfish type fish, they're one of the harder ones to get. Like
mhm,
you either have to get really lucky or you really have to be genuinely skilled in a lot of ways to consistently
mhm,
catch crappie. And even then, I'm
mm,
pretty sure it boils down to like it's got to be the right place, right time, right season, all that kind of stuff. It like has to be the perfect storm.
yeah, yeah.
Is my
Usually
guess.
like
I don't know.
spring and fall, they say, and I haven't had any luck. I mean, a lot of guys will go under bridges over here and they'll catch a bunch of them. I've
Yeah.
tried minnows, artificial baits. I just haven't had any luck with it.
Yeah, right place, right time. I'm thinking probably right place, right time, right bait. All that. But
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm not much of a crappie fisherman myself, so I can't give you any pointers on that. I caught him on accident once the blue moon.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see here. Um, so what fish at this point in your illustrious fishing career would you say you're actually best at catching? Like if there was one fish, you'd say, "Yeah, no, I'm good at catching that fish." What it would be?
Well, my second nickname's probably the bluegill slayer because I can
Okay,
catch the heck out of some bluegill.
all right.
And the funny thing is a lot of my catch, clean, and cook videos, the ones that get
Mhm.
the most views are when I'm catching bluegill and cooking bluegill for whatever reason. Like
Huh.
even I did a catch, clean and cook when I did the striper, and it didn't get nearly the views that some of my bluegill catch and cooks get. So I guess
Interesting.
people really like watching you clean and cook bluegill for whatever reason, but maybe that's all that they're able to catch. So I
Right.
mean, they're easy and they're fun,
Relatable.
you know.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah, I catch
Yeah,
thousands of bluegill every year.
yeah.
I
And I
rarely
catch them
shoot it
with
live or
flatfish
whatever,
bait and
but
stuff.
yeah, yeah, it's my bait. So
Yeah,
I do a lot of bluegill fishing.
yeah.
Um,
But I mean,
what would you,
I've got people who'll say, man, you catch a lot of bluegill. Don't you ever get tired of catching bluegill and stuff? And I honestly, I'd rather go out for 2 or 3 hours and catch 30 bluegill and just feel, that on the end of my rod, and
yeah,
as opposed to maybe 4 hours of not catching anything if I'm catfishing or something like that, or if I'm, trying to catch bass or whatever. But if you go out with the right tackle and you've got ultralight rods and things like that, even the small fish, they put up good fights. You just have to use the
yeah.
right tackle.
Um,
So,
so what is your go-to technique? Break it down. Tell everyone how the fishless fisherman has mastered catching bluegill. How do you slay these gill?
all right. So my go-to, I'm gonna go with a 1/64 ounce jig head. I usually use 4 pound line on it. Try not to go over 6 pound.
Okay.
I use an ultralight rod. I like using shorter rods, like either probably 5 foot. Because if I go into little like creek beds or anything, I just like having a shorter rod, so I'm not getting hung up in the trees when I'm
Okay.
casting out. And then probably red worms are my go-to bait. I like using red worms. If I'm going out there and I know I want to catch a bunch of fish, I'm gonna take red worms. So that would be my. I definitely prefer live bait over artificial if I had to choose.
Right. Are you putting those red worms like on what size hook, and are you using the full worm? Or are you breaking off a piece? Walk us through that.
Um, Usually I'm using the full worm, and some
Full
people will
worm.
stick it like yeah, they'll stick it through the worm and kind of like roll it up to the top. But I
Hmm.
like to put mine. I hook it through the middle and then I wrap it a couple times depending on the length of it, and try to leave where the tail is still kind of like flapping around. So
Yep.
when I cast it out and it hits the water, it's just attracting the bluegill to it.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
Yeah, and and a lot of times I put a little split shot on there too, just to get it down. And when I cast it out, I'll let it hit the water and I try to let it sink down to the bottom. Once
Mhm.
it's done sinking, then I just do a real slow retrieve back to the shore and
Okay.
then pop it right there when I feel it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, do you have any unbelievable or crazy fishing stories right now?
Probably the craziest one was last summer when I went to Myrtle Beach. It's the first time I'd ever been saltwater fishing.
Mhm.
So I was fishing off the pier and we were I had cut bait that I was fishing with, and I'd seen a couple guys catching sharks. And I know over there you can't keep them; you have to catch and release with the sharks. So I threw one out there. I had one of those cheap Walmart like Tiger rods,
Yeah.
and I had it out there in the rod holder. And the rod holders over there, they're all janked up. I mean, they're like it's just however when they put them in at that pier, they didn't put them in right. So I didn't have it in the rod holder. I took it out and I stuck it down and I had it leaning up against the wood. And a guy came up to me and he was just talking to me about fishing, like how's the day going, stuff like that. So I had my head turned to my right talking to him. And my left ear, I pick up a sound that sounded like just plastic smacking into a piece of wood. So I looked over real quick. Next thing I see, my rod is just shooting into the water like a torpedo, taking off. So I lost the rod. It hooked up. A shark had grabbed it and took off with it. And I was like, I was ticked off at first, but then I was like, it's going to be a good story, to tell people one day,
Right.
fishless fisherman losing his rod to a shark. So
Right. Right.
now the crazy thing was I was out there another 3 hours or so, and there was some other fishermen behind me fishing on the other side of the pier, and they're like, "Hey man, what kind of rod did you lose earlier? Was it like a white tiger type rod?" And I said, "Yeah, man." And he's like, "Well, we're trying to hook that shark over there because he came back and he's still got the rod hooked to him." So he was still like 3 hours later, he was still swimming around the pier with pulling my rod around.
You know,
So
that's
that's pretty
crazy.
cool. That's probably the craziest story that I've had so far.
Yeah, I've got a similar one, and my wife. This is one of the very few times I took my wife fishing with me, so I have a verifiable witness. But a
Mhm.
catfish took my rod off the dock into the water, and it was gone. And then, literally, like maybe 5 minutes later, I hooked into a catfish, reeled it up, and it came with my rod. I'd caught the fish that had
So you
just
caught the
taken my
same one?
rod. Yeah, and I got my rod back. That's
Yeah, that
crazy.
would have been awesome. And that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to catch that shark so I could get my rod back, but it never happened. So, and I still wonder to this day if it ever like the hook ever, rusted out of his mouth or anything, or if he's still swimming around with that thing. Who knows?
Right.
You never know.
The other day, like, well, 2 nights ago now, a cat, and it was crazy because I took two big rocks and put them on my fishing pole, thinking that's plenty. Like a fish isn't going to take that. Well, a fish grabbed it, moved the two rocks, like it pulled the pole out from under the rocks, and then
Hmm.
like it was going in the water. And I dove in the river and grabbed the pole in the river, and then reeled the
Hmm.
fish in. But that was just a couple nights ago. But
Yeah. So, and
fish,
I was thinking too while you were saying that, like, 'cause you're in Wisconsin, right? Is where
yep,
you live. Okay.
yes sir,
So there's a lot of walleye up there.
yes sir.
Okay. So another crazy fish that I caught back in April was a pickerel, a chain pickerel,
Okay.
which that's part of like the walleye family, right? I do believe.
Not exactly. No, chain
Mhm.
pickerel is like a miniature northern pike.
Northern
Um,
pike, that's what it is. Yeah, it's like a
yeah,
pike. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. Now I got a cooked video of that one too, and that was actually a pretty good fish. Because when I was out there fishing, there was a lot of bass fishermen fishing for bass that same day, and they kept telling me how they were catching pickerel, and it was a trash fish. And I hooked up on one, decided I was going to eat it, and it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, have you ever had a pike?
I have not, but I've heard a lot of people
No.
say they're good. I had one friend, he likes to catch a pike and pickle them. He says that's really good. I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
probably next year or in the future, I'm probably going to start doing catch and cooks, and just try like every species of fish. But that's down the road. I've got a lot of other videos I want to make too, so we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm taking a slow approach to YouTube. I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm trying to contain myself. you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah. As far as like the pickerel, the pike, and the muskie are all basically the same fish. They just different size. Like a pickerel is like a mini pike, and a pike is like a mini muskie. So, yeah.
I got
Anyway,
you.
that.
Yeah. That was a fun fight too. I mean, they were that thing. It flailed around a lot, so it was pretty cool to bring it in. And I caught it on a crankbait.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, do you have any fishing superstitions or anything that you think bring you good luck or bad luck when you go fishing?
Um. hmm, I've never thought of any superstitions when I'm fishing. I do. I hear a lot of people talking about having bananas on the boat for whatever reason. Like it's not a good idea to have a banana on the boat.
Right.
Um, so I'm gonna have to put that one to the test one day. Just take a bushel of bananas with me and just eat them as I'm fishing off the John boat. See what happens.
Right.
Um, but no, I guess I just try to be as prepared as possible. Make sure that all my lines are set before I go. Make sure I've got all my bait and everything. I just want to be prepared. Like I don't like showing up to go fishing and then I'm sitting there for 30 minutes getting everything set up when I'm there. I want to get out of the car or get on the boat and I want to start fishing. I don't want to waste any time with it. So
Right.
that's just like kind of a pet peeve of mine, just trying to be as ready as possible.
Okay.
So, but I mean, real quick too, like that made me think when I was starting my fishing journey and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I remember like packing a wagon full of gear because I didn't know what I was going to catch or what I was going to need, And now I've kind of
Right.
narrowed it down. If I'm going to go strictly for bluegill, I know exactly what I'm taking. If I'm going
Right.
catfishing, I know what I'm taking. And, 'cause I remember pulling a wagon behind me with giant bags of stuff, just in case I want to be prepared for everything that I might catch. So that's just something you learn as you go, go
Oh,
along,
yep.
what you need to take. So
And then if you're not prepared, you'll figure something out.
yeah, I've even rigged up my own weight before. Like I was trout fishing and I ran out of split shots when I was
Hmm.
using those. So I went and got a twig and just kind of tied it to the line. Or not a twig. I'm sorry, it wasn't a split shot. It was a bobber. I didn't have a bobber. I lost my bobber.
Oh,
So I took a twig and I tied it to the line, and the twig was actually floating pretty good.
yeah.
So
Another thing that works really good, especially for if you're just pan fishing for bluegill and stuff. If you take
mhm.
like a McDonald's straw, right? And then you take your lighter. I don't know if you're a smoker, but I am, so I always have a lighter. And you melt the
Mhm.
ends of the straw. You
Yeah.
now have this. This is filled with air, and it's a perfect little pencil float. And you can just run your,
Oh, okay.
stab your hook right through where you burned the end down here. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful bobber.
Yeah. See, I've never seen that as much
I've done
YouTube
that a
as I
few
watch.
times.
So yeah. So there's a channel or not channel, but a episode idea for you to do right there. How to make your own bobber out of a straw.
Yeah, I could do that. I could definitely do that. I'd make it into a short.
Yeah.
Actually, that'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
really, really good bobber. Actually, if you just melt the two ends of the straw, really nice.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, what motivates you to keep going with the channel? And do you have any sort of like goals or dream aspirations for the channel?
Um, right now the channel to me is just a hobby type thing. I like watching it. I check the analytics, and just um, you know, growing up playing sports, I was always a stats guy, so I like looking at the stats and just kind of seeing how each video performs and what I can do to make it better. It would be cool one day, to have enough subscribers and enough watch hours and things to be monetized and just make a little income off of it, just kind of support, as my wife would say, it's an expensive hobby. So, it'd be nice to make a little bit of extra spending money to do that. Um, I am going to be joining a John Boat Bass Circuit group in 2026. So I'm going to document a lot of that. Doing the tournaments is going to just document that, do videos and put those on the channel. So, I don't know, like I'll be 42 in October. So it's kind of a longevity type thing to me. Like I said
Right.
earlier, I want to leave a legacy behind. I want to post videos for my kids and other people to see, down the line. Um, and if it ever worked out where I was making money from it, so be it.
Right.
I'll cross that path when the time comes. I think what I would like to do, I kind of got a goal set for myself for maybe in the next 10 years or so, um, getting my captain's license and maybe being a charter fisherman.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of like a next 10-year type goal where I could see myself. Both my boys will be out of school or close to being out of school at that time, and it
Right.
might be a good career change. You know, so
That would be awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, man. Very cool. Um, do you have any like pet fish or aquariums or anything like that, or is it just
Uh,
fish?
no, I don't have any pet fish right now. We used to have a 55-gallon fish tank, and we had a bunch of what are they like what are they called? Those well, it's like a piranha type fish. I don't know.
Like a pacu or a silver dollar, maybe?
No, it was like an orchid or something. Or
Oh,
a,
Oscars? You had
yeah,
Oscars.
Oscars. Yeah, it was an
Okay,
Oscar. Yeah, yeah.
gotcha.
So we used to have those. Those were fun to watch. You throw a goldfish in there and watch them attack them. So that was
Right.
pretty cool. But yeah, we got rid of that years ago. It was just too much to maintain. And we had a couple pet turtles for a while. Um, and then when I was a kid, I had a dwarf frog. That was pretty cool. And that thing, you couldn't kill that thing. I thought, I thought that it had died, and it was living at the bottom of my tank for probably 6 months. I didn't feed it or anything. And one day I just saw it pop out of its little house like 6 months after I thought he had passed away. And but yeah, you couldn't kill that thing if you tried.
What's your go-to fishing snack?
I don't really eat too much when I'm fishing. I don't know. I drink a lot of water and stuff when I'm fishing, but I don't eat a whole lot. Um, I guess usually it's just like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. If I
Uh,
take anything with me, or just like a bag of chips or something to snack on. I've taken beef jerky before, so I'm actually probably gonna start taking sardines. I just got into eating sardines and
okay.
posted a video a couple weeks ago trying sardines for the first time, and I got another video dropping on Tuesday, trying sardines for the second time.
Okay.
So everybody in the chat be looking for that one when it comes out.
Well, did you like the sardines?
Yeah, actually, I did. I grew up. My dad ate sardines when I was growing up, and it just didn't look right to me as a kid. I
Sure.
mean, looked like these small little whole fish with skin on them and bones and
Yeah,
everything. It just didn't look appetizing,
right.
so I never tried them. But I was like, so heck, I'll give it a shot. I'll make a video about it and see how it tastes. A lot of other people are doing it, so
Okay.
and they're
Is it
actually
a
pretty
trend?
good. I'm sorry.
It's a trend. There's a lot of people doing it. Is that
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah. There's a lot of people. It's like people are making videos now eating canned fish. It's different, like mackerel, sardines, different canned fish like that.
I could get on board
So
with that. Could do that.
yeah, and I'm gonna do a video probably in the next couple weeks. I found some canned rainbow trout and salmon. So I'm gonna because they're supposed to be
Yeah.
pretty similar. I want to see how they taste coming from a can.
I've eaten canned salmon. It's really good. I actually put it in my meatloaf.
Mhm. Oh, do you? Yeah. See, I
Yeah.
love meatloaf, but I never thought about putting salmon in meatloaf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that.
I've got a recipe for a thing I called superhero meatloaf. I'll probably be making a video on it this fall, but it's like five different kinds of meat. I use like ground pork, ground turkey, ground beef, canned salmon, eggs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Tons of different kinds of protein. Superhero meatloaf. Good
yeah, that
stuff.
sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
My wife makes salmon patties that are pretty good.
it's probably similar to that then. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
If you could fish with anyone, anywhere in time, like you got a time machine and all the money in the world, You know, they'd be a celebrity, whatever, someone that's passed. You could fish with anyone and go anywhere in time, past, present, future, and anywhere in the world, or even the universe. I don't know. Who would you
Hmm.
take and where would you go? What would you fish for?
Um, well, I'm gonna give you two answers. The first one is obvious. I would take my mom.
Yeah, saw that
If I
coming.
could go back and get her on my John boat with me and just show her everything I've learned over the last 3 years. I would, I think about that all the time. And I know
Yeah,
that she's with me while I'm out fishing anyway. But just to be able to sit there on the lake and just have another conversation with her, I would love to do that. And
pretty
then,
proud that you actually catch fish now.
oh yeah, she would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she would be very proud. And
Uh,
um, the next person, let's see, I'm a big Miami Hurricanes fan. I'm originally from Fort Lauderdale.
okay.
So I don't know if you watch any football or not, but are you familiar with Jimmy Johnson? He used to be the Cowboys coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So he lives in the Florida Keys now. He's got a boat, a fishing boat called Three Rings. He won a championship at
Okay.
the University of
Yeah.
Miami and two with the Cowboys.
Yep.
So that would be awesome to be able to go down there to the Keys with him and spend the day one on one on the boat with him and just do fishing and just talk about old University of Miami football stories from the 80s.
That
That
would
that
be
would
cool.
be like the dream for me. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it would be if I was gonna go that avenue, I'd probably do Vince Lombardi. I'm a huge Packer fan. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now me and my dad a few years ago, we took a tour of Lambeau Field, and it was a
Oh
really cool experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a special place.
we ran a half marathon in Chicago, and then we took like I don't know, it was like maybe 3 hour drive up, 3 or 4 hour drive up that way, and took a tour up there. It was really nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just like you don't get a lot of actually. That's probably the only football stadium that's got that the way that it's located, where you got all the houses around it. So it was really neat to see just the residential area right around the outside of the stadium.
Yeah. And what's
Yeah, it
cool,
was pretty
I
cool.
went to a game out there last year, and what's really cool is like there's not enough parking for the people in the stadium at the stadium, right? So
Hmm.
all the residential houses around the stadium put signs in the yard and like $20 for
Charge for
parking,
parking.
whatever. So you're parking in people's
Yeah,
driveways all around Green Bay. It's wild. It's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to go up there and watch a game, but I would probably go in September, October before it got too cold.
Yeah. Just get you a blaze orange hunting suit, man. You'll be all right. You'll
Yeah,
be all right. The cheese head holds all the heat in. That's the secret. See.
yeah. I'm gonna have to start wearing those on the boat in March down here when
There
I'm
you go.
fishing.
There you
Wear a
go.
cheese head.
All right, we have gotten through all the questions. We're
Okay.
almost to the hour mark. I am now releasing the questions to the chat. We are currently taking questions from chat. Emmykins, have you saved me any, or you've been too busy with your puns? Now taking questions from chat. Chat, do you have any questions for the fishless fisherman? Are you two brothers? Um,
Howdy,
we're
brothers.
all brothers in Christ, right? No,
Yeah, absolutely.
we're not biological brothers. Ask him about two sharks at once, says the fishless fisherman. I'm assuming
Oh
that's his
yeah,
son.
yeah. That's my son. He must be on my account. Um, yeah, it was that same trip when I lost the rod to the shark. I had like two or three hooks on the line and dropped it down with some shrimp, and
Okay.
I brought up it was a small bonnet head and a black tip, but I caught him at the same time.
What?
So I was just
I'm like
yeah, I was
two
just
different hooks.
yeah, I was jigging off the pier. I forgot about that. I'm surprised he remembered it too. But yeah, I was
Wow.
just jigging it off the pier and pulled it up, and I had two different shark species on the line. It's pretty cool.
For some reason, Source wants to know if you have any dad jokes.
I have any dad jokes? Oh, geez.
Putting them
I have
on
a
the
lot
spot.
of dad jokes, but you put me on the spot now.
Right.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. If I think of anything, I'll make a video of just dad jokes,
There you
fishing
go.
dad jokes.
Coming up, fishing dad jokes on the Fishless Fisherman. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Come on, chat. Hook us up with some questions. What do you guys got? What do you guys got?
So the source is saying, who's my favorite fishing YouTuber? Um, I'll give you two. If I'm trying to learn technique, it's a Richard Gene the Fishing Machine for sure,
okay.
and I'm sure that's a lot of people love watching his content. If I'm just trying to have fun and like watch an adventure type thing, high adventure videos. The guy's name is Micah. He lives in South Carolina, but I've been watching. I've pretty much seen every video that he's put out. He's a really good fisherman too. He fishes up in Lake Murray a lot in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there actually that does remind me of a question. Are there any fishing channels that you know of that I haven't interviewed that you'd like to see me interview or you think would like to be interviewed on my show?
Um. Yeah. There's one that he lives in Georgia also. Izzy Reels. I don't know if he's a subscriber to you or not. It's IZZY, and then I believe it's REELZ. I believe
Okay.
he
Damn.
does a lot of short videos, and he catches a lot of catfish from the Chattahoochee River.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a good one. And um, hmm, there's one called I think it's called Ramon Outdoors, and he lives in North Carolina, but he's got about 13,000 subscribers. He does a lot of how-to videos and things.
Source would like to know if he should change his name to Toothless Chicken Hunter. These are the types of
Yeah.
questions we get from chat. Come on, chat. You could do better.
Toothless chicken, huh? That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. There you have it. Change your name from the source to Toothless Chicken Hunter. You heard it here.
Yeah. The source, you got to get me on your channel. I got to do an interview or something on your channel one day.
You could probably do 5 questions with the source. You hear that, source? He wants to be on 5 questions with the source. Book him. Book him now before he's too big. Um, teacher leader
That's fine.
says, when you retire, how do you plan to fish?
Oh, when I retire, well, I'm hoping I could be a charter fisherman. So that's kind of like I would like to do that as a retirement thing. Um, but if I'm not a charter fisherman, and that's one reason I got into fishing too, is because I was like, in the next 15, 20 years, I'm going to be retired. What am I going to do? Like I told you, I grew up playing sports. I'm getting to a point where my body is shot. Basically, I can't lift weights or do a whole lot of things like physical things like I used to. And I don't know
Right.
what was I going to do when I retired? Just sit around and watch TV. And so I wanted to pick up a hobby. So fishing was one thing, and I could just see myself even at 75, 80 years old, sitting at a bank and fishing. And a funny story, like when I was fishing in Myrtle Beach last year, there was a group of elderly men that came to the pier, and those guys were like 85, 95 years old. They were old, and they were being pushed up in wheelchairs, and they were still fishing off the pier.
Yep.
So I mean, it's something that you can do, no matter how
I saw
old you
like a
are.
90-year-old guy take his walker straight out into the
Hmm.
middle of the river in his whatever those things are called, waders, right? And he
Oh
was
yeah,
still fishing while standing in his walker in the middle of the river. So that's something you just don't have to give up. So Dorothy wants
yeah.
to know, do the kids still enjoy fishing and how often do they go with you?
Okay, so my oldest son, he still likes to go fishing with me. He's actually going to be my teammate when I do the John boat circuit next year. So it's going to be me and him on the same team, which I'm looking forward to. My younger son, he got into it about a year ago, and he was also a bluegill slayer. I call him the bluegill assassin. I mean, and he would not give up until he caught 20 bluegill. I took him to a private pond one time, and I think he caught like, between him and my oldest son, they caught like 98 fish, something like that.
Oh wow!
And I didn't even get to fish that day. I was just sitting there taking fish off the hook, just throwing them back in. But he's kind of burnt out of it. My 9-year-old, he's burnt out of fishing. He thinks that I do it too much. So I'm hoping that he, as he gets older, he'll want to do it with me some more. He still goes and watches me. He doesn't. He gets bored of it pretty quick, but a lot of kids that age do. I know I did when I was younger. So, and I remember you asked earlier, or you preferenced that the channel name is the Fishless Fisherman, and I did it that way for a reason, because my goal with the channel is, as my boys get older, um, I know they're going to move out eventually, get married, things like that. But I want us to always be able to go fishing, make videos together, and have them, as they're growing up, be a part of my channel. So that's why I spelt it with an MEN instead of it just being me, because I
Right.
want them to be a part of it, along the way. So
I dig it. I dig it.
yeah,
I believe your son is asking what your favorite fishing spot is.
my favorite fishing spot, whichever one I go to and can catch a lot of fish. So, but I like fishing in
It's
rivers.
not a good
I
enough
like
answer.
fishing in
We
rivers.
need to know. We need to know. What's
I
the
like
GPS coordinates? Latitude,
the
longitude?
coordinate.
No, that's all right.
Okay, I'll tell you, my favorite spot, honestly, is probably Lake Allatoona, which is about an hour from me. There's a river that flows into Lake Allatoona called Little River, and I catch a lot of shellcracker out of there. So I like fishing in that river.
Right on.
Yeah. So
Take us there right now. Let's go.
yeah, let's go.
Get your car. Go
I
show
get
us the
my
spot. Let's go.
I get my private jet and we'll fly over there right now.
I'm looking for more questions here if anyone's got them.
Brian and Jess is saying 9 a.m. live stream tomorrow morning for bluegill. I would definitely do it if I didn't have to go to work.
Stupid jobs. Always getting in the way of
Yeah, I
what's
know.
happening.
I know. Where in America should we have an annual Fisher convergence gathering?
What's a convergence gathering? Source.
I'm guessing that's where we all come together.
Okay. To converge.
Yeah. In America, heck, if we're gonna
I
say
would say
America,
the Mississippi River, right?
yeah, or make it somewhere like the Florida Keys or something, somewhere tropical.
Well, the Mississippi is like right in the middle of the United States, is what I thought. So everyone
Yeah.
could meet there. Hammer Outdoor says, "What's the hardest part of doing videos and fishing?"
Oh, the hardest part, I guess, just like camera angles and stuff. Like sometimes I can't make up my mind if I want to wear a chest strap and give you guys like an angle from my hands using the reel and everything in the rod, or if I want to use a tripod from behind me where you can get a full visual of me fishing. So just camera angle. A lot of times when I go fishing and I'm filming, I'm there by myself. So I'm trying to set up different ways. I like when my older son goes with me, it makes it a little easier because he can walk around with the phone or the camera we're using and get different shots. So,
Right.
it's always better to have an extra person if you can, but when you don't, you're kind of, and I'm not going to go out and buy multiple cameras and have, different setups filming the same thing. So sometimes I don't even like, I just want to go out and fish. So what I'll do is I'll just go fish and I won't film that. If I catch anything, then I'll do like a cleaning cook and I'll film that portion of it. Cause I got in for a while there. I was filming every time I went fishing and I was kind of losing the joy of going out to fish. because I was so worried about getting everything on camera and making sure
Mm.
everything was, perfect. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go out and fish and enjoy it like I used to. And if I want to make a video, I'll do it. I'll do it at home while I'm cooking it. So that's why I
Grant
try
wants to
not
know.
to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Grant wants to know: was the Herschel Walker trade between Dallas and Minnesota the worst NFL trade in history?
No, it was the best NFL trade in history. They got 3 Super Bowls out of it. The Cowboys did.
There you go.
It sucked for Herschel Walker, but worked out for the Cowboys pretty good.
Right. Source wants to know what have been your favorite fishing YouTube milestones?
Um, I was happy when I got to 100 subscribers. Um, Probably recently just hitting over 250,000 views. That was pretty cool. Like I would have never thought starting out like that 250 plus thousand people or whatever would be viewing my videos. So that was pretty cool to see.
261,877 views. And that's not even
Yeah.
counting tonight.
Yeah. And I had a short, I think my most viewed short was like right around 55 or 56,000.
Oh, wow.
So that was
I've never
that
even
was
had a
pretty
shot get that high.
yeah, that was a pretty cool experience because I remember I posted the short. I was fishing in Myrtle Beach back in June, and I caught a little shark, and I just did a quick, like, I don't know, 12-second short of the shark or whatever, and posted it while I was waiting for something else to hit the rod. And I go up and look at my phone, and it's got 2,000 views within like 10 minutes. And I was like, holy crap, like I've never had a video take off like that. And then like every 20 minutes I was looking at my phone and it was like 12,000, 22,000. I ended up getting like 75 subscribers off of that one short. So it was just pretty cool to see it like just climbing and climbing and climbing in a short period of time.
Blessed to Crochet, it wants to know what is a dream place you would love to go fishing?
Dream place I would love to go fishing. I want to go out west and do some fishing, like out in Colorado, do some trout fishing out there. I went to Crater Lake when I was 17. I'd like to go back out there and up in Oregon and fish in Crater Lake. And then Puerto Rico. I would love to go to Puerto Rico and go deep sea fishing out in Puerto Rico.
That'd be cool. Source wants to know what is the weirdest bait you have caught a fish with?
The weirdest bait. I don't think I've really caught anything on a weird bait. I mean, it's just like red worms and night crawlers and artificial. I mean, I've used artificial red worms, but that's not really weird. I haven't
Right.
caught anything weird. So maybe cut bait. I mean, I know that you catch a lot of catfish with cut bait, but
Oh, yeah.
when you think about it, the way that you're handling the bluegill or whatever you're using, it'd be kind of gross.
Um, I've caught carp on like Laffy Taffies and
Mm.
marshmallows and weird things like that, I guess. Um,
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
I've never tried that. I would like to try like a gummy worm, see if I can catch
Yeah,
anything on a gummy worm.
trying to think. I mean, yeah, I think for me, catch when I caught a northern pike earlier this year on a piece of corn. That blew my mind. I didn't see that one coming. That was pretty weird to me.
Yeah,
It would. I mean, it's not weird to catch carp on corn, but a pike, that's a bit of a different story. Um,
yeah.
so put it in my mind right now.
Let me tell you one more quick story, if you don't mind, about my older
Go for
son
it,
when
man.
the first fish that he caught. I forgot about this. So I was with him, and we were in Cherokee, North Carolina, and I don't think he'd ever been fishing. This is the first time he went fishing. He was probably like 4, I would say.
Yeah.
And we were standing um, on a riverbank, and I had a rod. We put corn on there, and it was the very first cast he'd ever made in his life. and he
Right.
throws it in, and he starts saying like, "I think I got something. I think I got something." So we start reeling it in, and he pulls in a trout on his very first cast ever on a piece of corn. And so, and he rubbed that in my face for years because Daddy had never caught a fish, but his very first cast ever, he caught a trout.
Right.
So
Well, I
that
mean,
was
you both caught a trout with as your very first fish for both of you.
yeah,
It just took
yeah, and
you
I just
37 years, and it took
yeah,
him one cast. So,
yeah, and
but
I think to be able because I caught that fish on Father's Day with him there with me, I think my mom
yeah,
had a lot to do with that one. I really
right
do.
on. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's.
Was there any other questions that were missing?
I don't think so. Does anyone
Okay.
else got any more questions? Chat's just having a good time in there. They're going
Yeah.
wild. I loving it. Thanks
Yeah.
for the happy poop, Anthony J. and Cindy and whoever else sent me some happy poop. I love happy poop. That's always good. Uh, do your kids have any fishing nicknames?
Yeah, my older son, I think he got this nickname from Main Girl. I don't know if Main Girl's come in the chat or not. But she calls them Little Fishless.
Little
And then
fishless.
yeah, Little Fishless. And then so I started calling my younger son Tiny Fishless.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
So but I want to say I don't know if we'll get any more questions in, but I just want to thank you for letting me come on and just kind of share my story and how I got into fishing a little bit, just let the fishing community kind of know a little bit about me. I really do appreciate it. So,
Yeah, I love it. That's what I do this bit for. I love getting to know the community more intimately, one person at a time, making solid connections like this. I really
yeah,
like it. Like I've said this many times on the show, but this this interview style that I do, it doesn't get me a whole lot of views compared to just anything else I do. Really, I genuinely do
yeah,
this because I enjoy it, and I think the fishing community specifically, I think they enjoy it. Um, I know definitely the people that I interview seem to really enjoy it at the very least. You know,
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's just giving us the opportunity to share our stories and talk a little bit about our channel. So I do appreciate you having me on though. And if there's anyone in the chat that's not subscribed to me, just check out the channel. I do a lot of catch cleaning cooks. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos in 2026, kind of going through my journey through the John Boat bass fishing circuit. So be on the lookout for that. I try to keep everything on the channel fishing related. Even if I'm doing any kind of, I love to cook too, so that's why I do a lot of cooking videos. But I only post things that are fish related when I'm cooking. So I'm going to start doing a lot more lives too. I've only done 3 lives, so I need to start doing more lives. So, but
right on.
yeah.
We'll keep a close eye on you, and also not that it means much, but whenever someone does an interview on my show, they get a wrench. So you'll now have a wrench to connect around whenever you're in my lives. And
All right.
yeah,
Awesome. I appreciate it.
no problem. Thank you very much.
All right.
Y'all stay
Good night
cool.
to
I
you
will
guys.
catch y'all later.
All right. I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.